Here we're being given a variation of y equals x squared, which is your basic parabola centered at the origin. So let's briefly talk about function shifts as they relate to parabolas. So if we have an xy axis, y equals x squared is a basic parabola centered at 0, 0 on that xy axis. So it would look a little something like this. Now, if we added to the outside of that, that's a vertical shift, and vertical shifts are normal. In other words, positive is up and negative is down. So if we did x squared minus 3, well, normally negative is down. So this thing would go down 3. So if we have an xy axis here, our parabola would now look something like this. It would be, its vertex in particular would be shifted down 3, as would every other part of the graph. Now, on the other hand, if you add to the inside of a function, that's a horizontal shift, and those are backwards. So that would have looked a little something like this, x minus 3 all squared. And so if we were to do something like that on a graph, instead of sliding it down by 3 from the origin, here we're going to go right by 3. So our parabola would have looked something like this now. Every part of that parabola being slid given that the one that they gave us in this question looks like this, we know that the vertex is at 0 and negative 3 because it was slid down 3. It doesn't help us a lot on this question because we're being asked about when x is 1, 2, and 3. So let's make a little xy table and find out what happens when x is 1, x is 2, and x is 3. So if x is 1, then that means we have f of 1, and we're plugging 1 into the function. 1 to the second power minus 3, that's negative 2. So x is 1 when y is negative 2. We've gotten rid of this one already, but this one and this one match, and this one's also bad because when x is 1, y should be negative 2. Now let's plug in x is 2, and that's going to give us 2 squared minus 3. 2 squared is 4, so 4 minus 3 is 1, and we just found out that this passes through 2, comma 1. When x is 2, y has to equal 1. So both of these work out okay. Now let's look at f of 3. That's 3 to the second power minus 3. 3 to the second is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. And so we're expecting that this, when it has an x value of 3, it's going to have a y value of 6. And that means that this is now wrong, but this is still right. When x is 3, y is 6, and our answer is B.